All right, welcome everybody. I see we have some folks still coming in from the waiting room, so we will give it just a couple minutes before we actually kick things off officially here. A few things that we do want to go ahead and cover before we start the session today. Excuse me. If you can, please be sure to keep yourselves muted during the presentation from Blessing. That would be fantastic. Of course, we want to make sure that we minimize disruptions and interruptions for those folks while they're giving their informational presentation. You are more than welcome during the Q&A portion of the event that will follow the presentation to unmute yourself, turn your cameras on, ask any questions that you do have of the team here today. In the meantime, if there's anything that comes to mind while those folks are presenting, feel free to throw your questions into the chat and a representative from Blessing will answer as time permits. A couple of the things that we want to note here today, the session is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Illinois WorkNet YouTube channel as well. So you will have that URL as a resource post-event to be able to review all the information that's covered here today. Additionally, when you registered for this event, of course, we capture that information on the back end and we will be forwarding that on to our state agency partners as well as the folks over at Blessing Health. And without further ado, I'd like to turn things over to Brittany at Blessing. Brittany?
Thank you. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. This is our first time working with you through this platform, so we're excited to give you some information about Blessing Health System in general and then talk about some of the open positions, specifically entry level, that we do offer. My name is Brittany Weiss. I'm the Workforce Development and Marketing Coordinator. I've been here 2 years today. Today is my anniversary, so again, happy to be with you, and I will let the rest of the recruitment team introduce themselves and we'll get started. I'll start with Sierra.
Yes, we're so excited to be here with you guys today. As Brittany said, my name is Sierra Berry. I'm a talent acquisition specialist here at Blessing, and I've been with the organization for 8 years.
Thanks. Lindsay?
Hi, I'm Lindsay Perigo. I am one of the other talent acquisition specialists here at Blessing. It's just a fancy word for recruiter. We're happy to connect with you guys today and really share our resources through our entry-level positions and then possible growth opportunities we do have through Blessing. I've been with the organization a little over 2 years. I have about 6 years of experience in HR with a combination of healthcare, mental health industry, and education industry. And my service lines that I typically recruit for are more of your clinical positions, and you'll hear us kind of say non-clinical, clinical positions. Clinicals are more patient-facing. They're going to be like your certified nursing assistants, RN, patient transporter, psych tech, and then we have the non-clinical side of that, and that is going to be like your unit secretaries, maybe EVS, food and nutrition positions. But I mainly recruit for inpatient clinical positions, and then I do have a portion of the pharmacy department.
Thanks. And Mark?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark Thomas. I'm a talent acquisition specialist. I've been with the health system now for 11 years. I was a supervisor in environmental services for 8 years, and then I've been in this space for now 3 years. And I recruit for a lot of the ancillary positions, so environmental services, so which is housekeeping, and also food nutrition, lab, so MLTs, lab assistants, and then also radiology positions, security, patient access, some of them. So a lot of ancillary positions that are non-clinical and customer service oriented.
Great, thank you. So our plan is I will share my screen with you all and we'll go through just a quick PowerPoint. Thought it would be nice to give you guys some visuals as we discuss some of our opportunities at Blessing. At the end, we will again open for questions and we'll have the recruiters talk about some of their open positions. So hang tight and I will share my screen with you. All right, can you all see that okay? Perfect. I'll let Sierra jump in.
All right, so our mission, if you want to go to the next slide, Britt. No. So our mission here at the Blessing Health System is to improve the health of our communities.
All right, so then we do have our core values here at Blessing Health and our other entities throughout the health system. These are our values. We call them I Care. This is what we really strive our employees and individuals that are working for us, and whether that is in an employee status or contract status, to follow these. So we really expect you to, to show your integrity, compassion, accountability, respect, and excellence. We really strive for this. If you follow these, then that allows us to have you be successful in your current role and to provide excellent and exceptional care to our patients throughout Blessing.
Sorry, are you guys able to see the screen? I just want to make sure. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to talk about the entities. So it is truly the Blessing Health System. You have Blessing Hospital, Illini Community Hospital, which is in Pittsfield, Blessing Health Centers. We have one of them's at 927 Broadway, Blessing Foundation, also Denman Services, where we do our linen, and then we also have Denman medical equipment also, Blessing Health Hannibal, and then that encompasses our rural clinics also, and then our Blessing Riemann College of Nursing and Health Sciences, where they have different programs, of course, nursing, radiology, respiratory, medical lab techs, to name a few.
I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen this way, because if I do it the other way, I'm not able to see y'all anymore and unmute. But the Blessing Health System does employ about 4,000 people. It's one of the largest employers in the area. We're up there with Quincy Public Schools and with NAPIDE. And we hope to showcase to you by the end of this just why we need so many different employees, as there's so many different departments and things that help us run, that keep our patients healthy, safe, and continuing to help our communities.
So then a little bit about Blessing. So we are a 347 bed acute hospital in Quincy, Illinois. We're, non-tax supported, not for profit, independent, freestanding. We're committed to compassion, compassionate, high quality care using, state of the art technology and our comfortable facilities. One of our big ones that we just built was out here at 48th and Main Street. If you ever get a chance or you're in the area, that's a beautiful building, lots of windows, it's very beautiful. So that's definitely we have state of the art technology and everything in there to provide care for, patients.
All right, so some of Blessing's programs that we house here, if you don't really know, like let's say you want to get into clinical side of healthcare and you just don't know really where to start, we do have our in-house CNA training program. So a lot of programs, you have to sign up, pay for the class, and then you go through a program, and then you get you're eligible to take the exam, and then you can start working and find a job. So our CNA training program allows you, we pay you to go through the program. So as soon as you're committed to and you get hired on into the program, you start working as an employee for us. So you would start out as a patient care assistant, and then you would go through our program. It's typically about 4 to 6 weeks, just depending on the class size. At this time, we do hold it monthly. And once you do complete that, the first half of the program is more of your theories, more of your classroom work. And then the last part of it is clinical. So more of your like inpatient settings, you're doing your hands-on clinicals, doing your skills checkoff. Once you complete that program, then you are eligible to take the state of Illinois exam through the Illinois Department of Public Health. Once you pass that and get certified, then you are, we orient you to the department on your floor to where you can start working as a CNA. It is very strict as far as attendance. So the training is 4 days a week. It's Monday through Thursday, 7 to 4:30. And then you have 3 days off. But then once you complete that and get certified, then you would start your 12-hour, 8-hour shifts to the respective department that you were hired onto. We do require you to work 936 hours as a certified nursing assistant at Blessing. If you're unable to fulfill that, then you would start looking at the repayment of the program. It would be prorated depending on how long you worked as a CNA for Blessing. I always like to tell people that usually 936 hours, if you're full-time at 36 hours a week, it's usually a little bit over 6 months is when you meet that 936-hour employment agreement. But it's a really great program. We get you certified, you get clinical experience, and then if that's what you want to do for the rest of your career, that's awesome. If you're wanting to, it's also used as a stepping stone or gateway to other clinical positions, whether that is nursing, radiology, respiratory. We do have what we call Blessing Ringman College of Nursing and Health Sciences. That is under the Blessing umbrella. So we do have programs for, like I said, nursing, radiology, respiratory, and MLT. And how that works is depending on your background with education. Typically, we have partner schools through Culver Stockton College in Canton, Missouri, Quincy University here in Quincy, Illinois, and you would do your gen eds. And then once you were able to complete those, then you would, about halfway through your sophomore year, you would look at transferring to BRCN to go into those respected programs. There's also a great collaboration with BRCN and John Wood Community College here in Quincy. And then, of course, if you have credits that apply at other colleges that meet the minimum requirement, you can be a direct transfer to BRCN. So it's a great gateway into healthcare for clinical positions and just to kind of figure out what you want to do. And then I'll hand it over to Mark.
Thanks, Lindsay. So Lindsay mentioned earlier about how we like to grow our own. So you can see in front of you a career pathway. We have career pathways for a lot of our different positions. As an example of a nursing pathway. So on here you can see, CNA training program, the starting pay requirements, high school diploma, and then student nursing assistant. Also the multi-skilled tech and that pay, and how you can use that to go through and continue and grow into becoming an RN. There's also other avenues to do that where we have career pathways. For example, when I was a supervisor in EVS, I hired a young man that started out as an EVS tech. His ambition was to go on and become an RN. He worked in EVS for a year, and then he actually went to BRCN, and after a couple years, he ended up getting his RN. He had already had his bachelor's when he came to Blessing as a EVS tech. He moved from an EVS tech to a multi-skilled tech, and then eventually a psych tech. His passion was actually nursing in the psych areas, and once he became an RN, he worked for Blessing as a inpatient RN in our psych department, and then he actually moved to our outpatient area over in the Blessing Health Center, and as a psych RN there. So there's a lot of different pathways we have that you can go through, whether it leads to nursing or leads to another avenue. We love to grow our own people and see them navigate, through whatever position they're at and whatever career pathway they're looking to choose.
Yeah, as Mark said, we have these for almost every department in the health system. And when we receive all your information for all of those of you that signed up for today, we'll be sure to send out an email to you asking you what your passions are, what your goals are with Blessing. And we're happy to send these out so that it's department specific for you and your interest level as well. So next up are our benefits. I think that Blessing can be very competitive, especially in our market. We have some very unique benefits. We'll touch on just a couple here. One is earning up to 4 weeks of paid time off in your first year, unheard of, right? I always use my husband as an example. He works at a large company here in Quincy, and he has been there for 9 years and did not receive his 3rd week of vacation until he had been there for 8 years. So the fact that you earn 4 in just year 1 is pretty unique to Blessing. We also have our on-site child care center. We call it the Early Learning Center, and it's for ages 6 weeks to 12 years years of age. You do have to be an employee of Blessing, you or your spouse, to be able to utilize this, but it's one of the largest daycare facilities in the area. It's also open 364 days a year. So every day but Christmas, they're open 5:30 a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. So that really helps with the schedules of a 7 to 7 for a nurse or someone who might be inpatient. It's also on site. It's right next to the hospital, so truly provides peace of mind. And it's very affordable. I always say, take it from me. I have a 3-year-old. Daycare is hard to find and it's very expensive. So the fact that we do have that, and we're one of the only employers in the area that offers this as a benefit to our employees, is pretty wonderful. The other is retirement plan with dollar for dollar matching. We do have opportunities for personal and professional growth, and I think our career pathway, as we showed in the previous slide, really showcases that. We love to show people how they can grow. We want to retain them for life. We want to invest in them. We don't want them to leave the organization, but we want them to find their passion and help them grow here at Blessing. In fact, we actually have an internal career fair that we host every year. And then we also do individual career planning sessions quarterly with our employees so that we can discuss with them where they are in their goal planning and how we can help them to continue that. We also have free wellness center access. It's 24/7. Our employees have access to an exercise physiologist, personal trainers, nutritionists, exercise classes. We have 3 locations. One is in Pittsfield at our Illini Community Hospital, which again, as Mark said in the beginning, is our critical access location. And we have 2 in Quincy. One is located at the Wellness Center, which is in between Holiday Inn and Walmart, if you're familiar with the Quincy area. And the other is back over at the hospital as well. Last up is our up to $10,000 of educational assistance. That's another, I think, example of us truly investing in our employees. Employees who work with us in a full-time capacity can unlock $10,000 that they can utilize to go to school. Has to be something that, of course, we're hiring for. My example is, if you want underwater basket weaving, we can't help you. We don't hire for that. But if it is something that is a critical to fill position for us, we'll help you get to that degree, that certification, whatever it is, again, in hopes that you'll stay with us. The way you pay it back, it's not monetarily. You pay that loan back by working for us. So you work off $100 a week for up to $5,200 a year.
Next up, we have our sign-on bonuses. So as you see below, we kind of have a little bit of everything for a sign-on bonus. So it goes all the way from bedside RN to, clinic RN, CNAs, multi-skill techs, certified medical assistants in the clinic setting. So, we always like to, say, if you're interested, let us know so we can lock you in. Because if they take away the sign-on bonuses, if we have you locked in, you're guaranteed to get that. So what are the requirements for this? It is a 3-year commitment to Blessing. If you were to break that at any point in time, you would then owe the full amount back. You do have to maintain a full-time capacity, which is 32 hours or above per week. So it is then paid after you would get your licensure or anything like that. Example, we've locked in a lot of nursing students, and they have locked in already. Some might not graduate till 2025 or 2026, but they've already signed that they would like the sign-on bonus. And of course they can't get it right now, but they would get it then on a off payroll week once they've received their license and are, officially licensed. Then the bonuses can be paid out as a lump sum, so they can take the full amount, or so example, if you do, like I said, the full amount for the 25,000, you can take that full amount, or you can do a split option where we would pay then $10,000 directly to student loans, which would not be taxed, and then the 15,000 that would go to you would then be taxed. And then if you were to leave Blessing at any point, you would then have to be gone, at least 18 months to then be eligible for the sign-on bonus if that was something you would like to do.
You're welcome. All right. So I know that not everybody would be eligible for sign-on bonuses, but we do have other ways to earn extra money here at Blessing. We have referral bonuses. So they're kind of similar. There's like it goes from anywhere from 500 to 25,000. The cool thing about the referral bonuses is you don't have to be in any of these positions to earn the bonuses and extra money. So if you are, let's say, you are hired on as a unit secretary in our Gen Med oncology department, and let's say you refer a medical lab tech assistant, then you would be paid in increments depending on the eligibility of if the employee's full-time and then how long they stay. You would then be eligible to be paid out up to $20,000. And then, but it just kind of depends on what they're hired on as. So if they're hired on as what we call per diem or part-time, then it wouldn't be eligible. But as long as they're full-time, then you would be eligible to receive those in increments over time.
All right, next up we have our career pathways. This is kind of like a, what do you do from here? Okay, first and foremost, what we always recommend is to go to our careers page, okay, and look at the positions that we have available, and if any interest you, and you look at them and you meet the criteria educationally requirements, whether it's high school diploma, whether it's a GED, bachelor's degree, associates, whatever, you can look at those and what you feel like you fit into educationally and also job experience wise. We recommend that you apply for those positions. They come to us, we look them over. If you meet those needs and fill those requirements, we'll send those on to the hiring leaders. The hiring leaders will look at your application resume, and then the next step would be a interview. And a lot of times they do job shadows or department tours, and which are really good. Really gives you a good idea if it's a place that you see yourself being. Get to know the hiring leader. Get to know possibly future teammates and coworkers, and also gives the hiring leader and the coworkers chances to get to know you as an individual and your work ethic and also your personality and see your fit for the team. And then, as you can see, three, you'd possibly get an offer accepted, and then we'd have new employee orientation, and then, of course, you'd be starting your career, hopefully a long career here at Blessing.
We also offer job shadows at the Blessing Health System as well in almost every department across all of our entities. Just have to be 16 years old to job shadow. We do require immunizations if the total amount of shadowing is over 8 hours, and those immunizations are listed here: Hep B, MMR, current flu, and current TB. Or we have a TB questionnaire that you would fill out as well. But it's really great to understand, is this what I see myself doing in the future? If you have multiple areas of interest, we can be pretty creative within that 8 hours as well. Maybe do a couple here, a couple there. I love it, especially for young people. The fact that they can do it when they're juniors and seniors in high school truly helps them before they maybe choose if they want to go to college. And if so, what pathway is best, what college is best, what program is best. But even for those that are out of schooling and they're just trying to see what's my passion, we're happy to work with you on that basis as well. My information is listed here, and you'll also have that when I send out a follow-up email to you as well. So if you'd like to set up a job shadow, just let me know at that time. This is our QR code you can use to go directly to the careers page. If you are on your phone, I have the direct link as well, or you can just type us into Google. We do update these weekly. So typically on Fridays is when you'll see the newest open positions listed. We are very transparent in our job descriptions. We showcase what is the starting pay without experience. Is there a sign-on bonus? What are the qualifications? And so hopefully that'll be helpful to you. What are the shifts and the times and the statuses? Is it full-time or part-time? But as you're looking for jobs, hopefully you guys can navigate that. If you need any help, please let us know again, as you'll have our contact information. Before we open up for questions, and I know that we do have some in the chat that we'll address, I would like if the recruiters could go through, since they all have such different service lines, and talk about some of the open positions they have specific to entry level. So I'll probably go Sierra, Lindsay, and Mark if you guys want to go ahead and discuss.
Yeah, so just kind of looking at some of the ones in the chat. We do not have any open positions near Chicago area. We're mainly located here in the tri-state area of Quincy. Like we kind of said, we have positions in Hannibal, Missouri. We have satellite clinics, which would be like Warsaw, our Hannibal one, our Palmyra one, Mount Sterling, Bowling Green. We do have a couple of those little areas outside of, the main hub here in Quincy, besides Illini. Let's see here. Oh, Lindsay already kind of addressed them. Sorry, she was messaging them. Mark, do you want to answer the patient access one?
Yeah, I can answer that. And then also, we do have some remote coding positions. A lot of our patient access positions are at the hospital, and so they're not non-remote. I would recommend getting on our careers page and looking. That coder 2 position is a remote position. We don't have a ton of remote positions. We have a financial counselor position that's available. That's a possible remote. And then I also recruit for EVS and food nutrition. We always have those available. Those are great entry level positions that you can start out and then continue your career through blessing as you want to go through different areas and those type of things. So patient access, also security. We have a security position that's open currently, and but we normally always have environmental services and food nutrition positions that are available. Lab assistants are another position that's really a good position to get to know the hospital. And if you're really looking to go into different areas in the medical field, it really gives you a good base and get you to understand the hospital and also the different areas in the hospital and where you may want to continue to grow to.
Mark, there was another question in the chat that just said, can you address what are ancillary positions?
Yeah, so ancillary positions are, positions like food nutrition, EVS, security, some of the non-clinical areas, patient access, all are customer service oriented. Almost all positions in the health system are customer service oriented. And so those are some of those ancillary positions. I also have 2 maintenance specialist positions that I recruit for that are currently open that they're interviewing for. Sometimes we'll have groundskeeper positions. We don't currently have any right now, but those would be considered ancillary positions.
And just kind of to add to that, so I do apologize, I didn't say what I mainly recruit for in the beginning, but I mainly have, a little bit of the inpatient RN. So I have rehab, women and children, OB, I have home care, a lot of the outside clinics. So, anything in the clinic setting, so clinic RN, clinic LPN, certified medical assistants, medical office assistants. That's mainly my, wheelhouse of what I kind of recruit for. And then I do have the psych units as well, inpatient and outpatient. So some of those like other ancillary ones could be, float clinic patient access reps, clinic patient access reps. It's mainly known as receptionists, but we kind of changed it to clinic patient access reps. I don't have very many of those open right now. I do have some in maybe our rural clinics. And then I do have a couple unit secretary positions open as well right now, but some of them are part-time. So if you're, looking for a part-time, if you're looking for a foot in the door, maybe part-time if you can swing that, and then maybe speak later on, and then maybe full-time might open up later on. People come and go, all the time, so you never know when somebody might leave the organization and something else might kind of come up as well.
And then I wanted to touch base on some of my entry-level positions. Like I said earlier, I do a lot of inpatient and pharmacy. I know, as you guys are probably aware, when we grow up and somebody's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's firefighter, police officer, doctor, teacher. So I know when I went through school in high school, those were kind of the career pathways that were presented to me. And I didn't really understand, like, there's much more than just that, not discrediting those occupations that I discussed. But there's so much more. There's so much detail that goes into the hospital. There's so many moving parts, and these areas can't do their jobs without the others. So Some entry levels that I like to bring to light is like SPD, so instrument techs. Those are entry level into like the surgery area. So what they do is they prep and clean and sanitize surgical tools for surgical techs and surgeons and surgical nurses. The minimum requirement for that is a high school diploma, and then you would have to get a certification that you have training with on site for within the first year. That's a good example. We have pharmacy tech positions that minimum is a high school degree, and then you just have to work with the department and within 30 days get your certification with the state of Illinois or the state of Missouri, depending on what location you're looking at. Anesthesia tech, the same thing. You have a year to get that licensure and those credentials. CNA, we will help you get that certification. If you're not really wanting to go the clinical route, we do have clerical positions in the inpatient setting. So like unit secretary positions. We do have, if you don't want to go like certification route, we have patient transporter positions. It's not like driving patients places, but let's say you have somebody who is in our ODU department or the ER and they need to go to radiology to get like a CT scan or anything, you'd be responsible for transporting patients throughout the hospital to different departments, different floors. That would require excellent customer service just to make sure that our patients have that exceptional care, because most of the time when we have people that are, not, it's not all, but a lot of times when patients are coming to us, they're not always feeling 100%. So just making sure that you follow those eye care standards that we went over previously and providing that exceptional care. We also have CNA positions, psych tech positions, and then like Mark and Sierra said, there's multiple other clerical and ancillary positions as well.
Two others I wanted to mention that are some of my service lines include the Early Learning Center or the Child Care Center that we discussed. We do have teachers and teacher assistants. For teachers, they do have to have some college with so many credits within early childhood. So if anyone is interested, please let me know when I reach out to you and I can send you the career pathway for that so you can see what is all required. We also own Denman Linen and Denman Medical, so they sell medical equipment. And in the linen piece, they wash and dry all the linen, not just for our region, but all the way into Iowa, Springfield, Illinois. So we need linen assistants for that piece. We need mechanics and maintenance staff to help with the washers and dryers, the rail system, the pneumatic system, and we need drivers. We need truck drivers as well. So you can see from what all the recruiters have discussed, there's so many different opportunities in terms of jobs at Blessing. It's truly not just the doctors and the nurses. I wanted to address one of the questions too. Someone had asked, do you help the entry-level positions that are not clinical with their career pathway? Yes, we do have career pathways within specifically environmental services or housekeeping, food, nutrition. So we can show them what's entry-level all the way to the tippy top before management. But again, with the internal career fair, with our individual career planning sessions, all of our staff are invited. And so we certainly help anyone that is interested in growing within the health system and discussing their next steps, whether it be job shadowing, whether it be schooling, what type of schooling is necessary, and how can we help pay for it. Another question was, the career planning, is it 4 times a year for clinical and non-clinical? Yes. Again, it's open to anyone. And even beyond that, with our organizational development team, they offer a lot of classes, whether it be leadership or even things just like time management, budgeting classes. They'll offer that throughout the year a few times a month as well. And are there any remote positions? I think Mark addressed some of our remote positions would be in information security, also known as IT, to the rest of the world. And then also with some of our HIM or our health information management. So they have some coding positions, and some of our patient access and patient financial services positions would have an opportunity to be remote. Last would probably be our data analytics team. If anything is remote or has an opportunity to be remote, it will be noted on the job description that you can find on our careers page. I wanted to ask some of the recruiters too if they wouldn't mind giving some advice for applying to the health system. I know one that I'll start with is when you do apply, we only require the application, but I will note that sending a resume and a cover letter is very helpful. We receive upwards of 1,100 to 1,500 applications a month, and sometimes it's very hard just from the application to note, is this person, the best fit for this specific job when we have a number of others coming in as well. So I always recommend a resume and a cover letter to showcase your skills and your past work experience so that we can see that it was relevant.
Yeah,
But beyond that, go ahead.
Right. In addition, Brittany, I mean, I think on that application, a lot of times, especially if you don't have a lot of work experience, make sure you put everything on there. I hired a person in EVS one time, and he was coming straight out of high school, didn't have any work experience. And even when we were interviewing him, when he was answering the questions, he answered the questions as, personally. So if you babysit, you can put it, that on there. Any type of employment history, because what you're trying to do is show consistency. And that's one of the things we look at. Having a cover letter is excellent too, because it really gives not only the recruiters, but I think more importantly, the hiring leaders, it gives you an idea of who you are as a person, and how you write that, and you can specifically, write that according to what you're wanting to aspire to do, even though you're not there yet, and some of your career goals. And so those are great things to do from a recruiter's perspective. And then when we pass that on and turn that on over to a hiring leader to review, those are great things and great opportunities for you as a applicant to promote yourself and let them know who you are and trying to get that interview. And once you get the interview, that's up to you to sell yourself and show that you're a top quality candidate.
I would agree with what Mark said, just kind of piggybacking off what he said. Just making sure that I know sometimes applications can be lengthy, they might be intimidating, they might take a little bit of time. But if you've ever applied with us in the past, it's really good to make sure that's updated. Let's say that you worked for Blessing in the past, and then let's say you apply with just the same information. It doesn't show any employment history from when you were last employed with us to current. We take a look at that. So we want to see how you've grown. If you want to put in an extra level, you can always provide a cover letter explaining your passion for why you want a position, why you want to return to Blessing, or why you want to work for Blessing, and then we'll take all that into account. But like Mark said, the first thing is to apply and just make more information the better.
And I think, also to add to what they said, we've kind of updated our, what it looks like from your guys' standpoint. So we've kind of made the application process a little shorter than what it used to be. But like they've said, just add everything you possibly can on there. No work history or any experience you have is, ever going to expire. So if you did something from 20 years ago, let us know. Because what you don't tell us, we don't know. And then when it comes down to maybe if you're in the potential offer state, we do that based off of, experience or your licensure or things like that. So if you don't list that experience, we can't count that towards your salary. And we want to give you the most credit we possibly can.
Yes, you can complete the application using your mobile phone. Any last questions for us? And again,
sorry, Britt, where it said employment history is spotty. Should a person still apply? I think you should still apply. Regardless of what your work history is, I think still apply and we can see what we could potentially find for you. I just saw that one. So sorry, go ahead, Britt.
And at that time too, we can also give you feedback as to what we have seen in the past with someone who may have had similar history, or what a leader may say, or even pass on and see if a leader would like to move forward, noting what we have the information on. But I think that's also why a resume and a cover letter really explaining your interest in the specific position and as to why it's important to you and why Blessing is important to you would truly give you some weapons in your arsenal when moving forward.
Somebody also put in the chat, can you complete the application using your mobile phone? Yes, you can. Me personally, I think it's easier if you can use a computer. We've had people ask about If they didn't have a computer, a lot of times we point them to some other resources, so IDES, or you could go down to like your local library, and you can get on a computer that way. But you are able to complete the application using your mobile phone.
If you do have something that would potentially be a hit on your background, we actually would ask that you let us know when we're communicating with you to set up an interview, because we do what's called an orange tree. That's the program we use, background check. And so we would like to know well ahead of time if it is something that might pop up. Do we have to have a waiver process in place, any of those things? And some of that stuff takes time. So we don't want to find out at the very last second and either have to term the person, or they can't start their job right away and then they're left without employment, whatever it may be. So being open about that's very important.
And to add to that, I think too, like Brittany said, let us know up front for sure. So then we can, if it's something that's waiverable, or we do have an internal waiver process, if that's something we can do, we want to get that started as soon as possible. So if you are offered the position, we can get you started right away instead of delaying and pushing your start date back, because we don't want you to be, without a position or without pay for a certain time frame as well. So we definitely would work with you if possible.
And in terms of second chances, there was a question, does Blessing agree with giving second chances? For us, specifically if you've worked for us in the past and you were noted a no rehire, we would look at your application once more, but we would need to see 1 to 2 years of steady work history at another organization before we would look at your application once more. Any last questions? Do you reimburse for certifications? It really depends on the position. You would be able to go through an application process and work with our total rewards team to see if that's something that they would provide reimbursement for. We do tuition reimbursement for, if you can help me, Lindsay, I know on most of the clinical positions, the nursing specific position.
Yeah, it's for RNs. I believe it's rad techs, but mainly the clinical positions, pharmacist, those level positions. They do provide that. But like it would have to go through like a application process, like Brittany said, and that would be determined by that team throughout Blessing.
And then another kind of one that we would reimburse for or help pay for. So for example, we partner with John Wood Community College for certified medical assistants. They have a program there. And then we have internal employees that do come here and they want to be a certified medical assistant. They can work here as a medical office assistant while going to school, and then we can help assist pay for that John Wood Community College certification for being a CMA. It's about a year-long program, but that is something else that we would then kind of reimburse for and kind of help pay for as well.
All right, well, thank you all. Let's see if we have one more. Perfect. I will go ahead and send out information to everyone who joined us today. Again, if you have further questions or you'd like to see something specific in terms of a career pathway or direct links to applications, we can provide that for you. Just simply reply back in our thread. And I will go ahead and turn it back over to Daniel.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brittany, and thank you to all who joined us from Blessing to present today. Just a few things that we want to go ahead and note before we close out the session here today. Again, if you joined a little bit late, we did record the session here today, so you will have an opportunity to review the recording in its entirety once we get that uploaded to the Illinois WorkNet YouTube channel. Additionally, when you registered for the event here today, we of course capture that information on the back end, and we will be supplying that over to the folks at Blessing as well as our state agency partners for review as well and for further follow-up as well. And with that, we want to go ahead and thank everyone for joining here today. We hope this was helpful to you, and we look forward to seeing you in another session soon. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Bye.